Okay, this is going to be an orderly meeting. Nobody comes to this microphone with no swear words and no any booze on their breath. Won't allow it. You will have 3 minutes for comments and concerns. Okay? And now I want to introduce the directors. And by the way, we need 2 more directors. I've tried to get directors from the Western, Pubnico included. Ain't come up with nobody. That's what they say when I ask them to be a director. No, can't put up the fishermen. They got negative votes in up my face and actually get out of control. And I don't blame them. And you fellas should not be doing that. I'm not saying all you do that, but some of you do that. Okay? So far, there's Stephen Gorham. Get up, Stephen. We have Erica Smith. Erica. And Tina's not here. Tina is. Okay. I think we have one more lady that might come on as the board of directors, okay? The agenda today is, you fellows have questions about the vote of the crew members. We're going to get to that. And you have other concerns about me. We're going to get to that one too. So okay, we're going to talk about, there's been a lot of talk about crew members. Crew members are only going to have 2 votes of 2 different issues. Number 1, every year we have an election, and they have a right to come and vote whether they want to keep the executive board or throw us out in the wind. That's the first one. Second one is, the crew members will vote on a fair lobster price. For any time we have a vote, they'll be invited there to vote to make sure their input is there. They are stakeholders and they have a share in this industry. And don't forget that. That's the only 2 things they're going to have to vote for. Okay? Now we're going to get down to my credibility. Not going to go into not going to go into any big detail. Some people are saying, what's he going to do with the money? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do with the money. First of all, we have a board of directors, we have a secretary treasurer, and actually we have to have 2 signatures on every check. Never was a thief, and never will be a thief. And if you think that I'm going to take your money and misuse it, you're wrong. Remember, I got pissed off at a $408 bill down to Shelburne about the hall. $408, I'm still pissed off about that. Now, they're saying that, well, he could steal the money and, take our money. Guess what? Here's what I want. I want you folks to remember, without an association, you ain't going nowhere. And I think I got more credibility than any man alive with you fishermen. Than any fisherman. Okay? So, after a while here, we're going to turn the mic over to the fishermen, the crew members. So I want to get this clear. If you think I'm the guy that should run this and I'm credible, tell me. If you have negative thoughts and you can prove something, you can come up here and tell me why I can't. Okay? Strength is in numbers, and we need big numbers. Don't forget that. People are saying, well, I'm going to hold back. Well, guess what? You held back for 4 years, and guess where it got you? $60 million this year you guys could have made with a good association and good prices. You know what you've done? You made that mess. You lobster fishermen made that mess. You did. And that's pretty sad. Pretty sad. I'm going to talk a little bit about what kind of reception we've got so far. Had one woman call me up, she wants to give me a wharf and a buying station. Free. Had one guy call me up, he wanted to give me 30 acres of land. The private sector is on side. They're pumping in their checks. They are. And they will continue to give. And hopefully they can give more money than what you fellows will generate. We need to get a cannery, we need $1 million. Anybody here think we can't do it? Then you shouldn't be here. because there's no such thing. I don't deal with cans.
Amen.
I don't do that. Like I say, the bad thing of it is you let $80 million slip through your fingers. And look at what the crew members are. Look what, they're not paying the bills. Look what's happened to your crew members. A lot of good crew members have gone west. Why did they go west? You fellas already know that. You know that. You know it. And if something isn't done, chances are you guys are going to be hard-pressed to pick up a crew. A half-assed crew and go fishing. I want to talk about Jeff Urban for a second or two. Anybody read the Navigator this last copy? You did? Anybody else? You fellas should all get the Navigator. It's all the fishing news out. Jeff Urban has a new name. It's a 12-minute man. He lasted 12 minutes in Woods Harbor. He went home with his tail between his legs. Simply because he is a hard gun for the federal government. He is. In fact, he's had money for 3 or 4 years. And if he was so damn good, how come you fellas got $3.25 for your lobsters this fall? You tell me that one. So remember, you don't address Jeff Urban, you say the 12-minute man. That's what I want you to do. And the Navigator, he's saying, the federal government is going to review the lobster license fees. You know what that means? You guys could be paying a lot more money. Jeff Urban is out there. He's not your friend, he's your enemy. And he's going to do what the federal government wants him to do. He's going to play with $1.4 million this year. That's what he's going to have to work with. And that money will vanish. And you know what you're going to do with Jeff Urban, the 12-minute man? Absolutely nothing. And here's why. Jeff Urban telling us in Woods Harbor that he's going to promote sales. Listen, these lobster dealers is in every country in the world selling their lobsters. They are. And if I was in the lobster business, guess what? I'd be doing the same thing. So where's Jeff Urban? What's he going to do? He's going to find another country out there? These fellas is in every country in the world selling their lobsters. Every one of them. Before we go to concerns and comments, I want to talk about Sterling Belleville. He made a fool of himself. When he went on radio and he promoted his little garbage that he put out there, he made a damn fool of himself. Seemed to me Sterling should be in the front row. You voted him in. Where the hell is he?
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
We have been working on a cannery for 2 years. 2 years. Someone's here. There's 2 guys right here. And when we first started, Sterling said, come to my house with there was 5 of us there. We formed a board. And he said, if you want a cannery, I'm your man. 6 weeks later, he was backpedaling. But we're going to test Sterling Belleville because he's going to look at this. What we're going to do today, he's going to look at this on YouTube, whatever. And what we're going to ask Sterling Belleville today, I'm not going to crap on him all that much today, but a little bit. We're going to ask Sterling when the next meeting, he's going to have to come to the table and he's going to invite us to the table to talk about a cannery. He's going to have to do this because you know why? We're going to make him do that.
Right on.
I got another thing I got to talk about, Ash and Spinning. People's asking me about Ash and Spinning. I got no gripes with Ash and Spinning. I just think that Ash and Spinning got bogged down with government issues. And if Ash and Spinning wants to think he can control the government, he'll have to keep on his course. Got no qualms with Ashton whatsoever. People saying to me, did he call you? No, he ain't going to call me, and I ain't going to call him. No. Ashton Spinney will have to do his thing. This is a democratic world, and he can do whatever he wants to. Now, what we need is some of you guys to come up here and tell James Moodboy he's not critical of running this association. That's what I want to hear. Now, the other 2 things I heard from West Pubnico, wasn't on West Pubnico about me not credibility, don't kid yourself. Is that Sparrow would not buy your lobsters. And another thing I heard, that the company owners would not let you join this association because of me. Now, you got to come up here and tell me. Somebody's got to come up here and straighten this out. Listen, the last 2 times that I tried to help fishermen out, the last time was a cannery. I'm still paying bills on that to 2 people, experts that came in, accountant, and another guy that was going to help do the engineering and so on and so forth. I paid him 2 bills. I paid my telephone bills. The one before that was the harpoon people, lawyers, travel, telephone bills, so on and so forth. So, actually, you guys owe me money already. Don't you? You owe me money, right? Anyway, I think that's going to be, I think I hit it down the wrong road on that one, but that's okay. Anyway, is anybody up here going to entertain the idea of coming up and tell me why I should not run this association and why we've hit it in the wrong direction? Then I guess you must want me to run it.
My name's Troy Nickerson,
Don't forget to have a cock with 'em.
born and bred Cape Islander, but I have a half of my heritage in Woods Harbor. Live on the west side, fish out of Abbott's Harbor here on the west side. Thanks for throwing me up there so soon. Some people come today curious. And I know this might be a little bit of a repeat. We live in an age of technology that allows us to see every waking move that people do. So I'm not a secret to a lot of you people. I would say that what I had to say in Shelburne was something that came from the heart, because that's where we are today. We are in crisis mode. And I have no reason why to explain, but something has just gone off inside of me about this area, and that it matters. And we do make a difference. And we have people, we have kids and families who don't want to leave this area. They want to make this their home. They want to remain their home. And truth be told, there's people who have left here who want to come back. But they don't have nothing to come back to right now. I'm not telling you something you don't know. My hope is to appeal past the wallet into your heart, a sense of community. Are you happy with what went on the last couple of years? These are just obvious questions.
4 years, Troy.
4 years, actually. I guess the last 2 we just kind of got bogged down on that price. But are you happy? Show of hands. How many people have enjoyed going for a less than $5 lobster these last few years? Come on, be honest. Nobody's going to crap on you. One? Okay, we got one individual who hasn't minded. That's fair. That's very fair. But, sorry to inform you, you're the minority. So that means everybody who's sitting here today is on the same page. Is that right?
Right.
Is that right? And you remember this is on film. Before your fellow community members, your fellow fishermen, you have just applauded, and through your applause, that means you're saying, I'm not happy. I don't like the direction that we're going, and unless something changes, I acknowledge we're going down. It doesn't have to happen. Should we have acted sooner, years before? Yeah, I guess so. Pardon me?
Of course you could.
Should have. But that's then, that's now. It's no good to rain on what's been in the past. Can't change that. But we stand here today. This is the hottest topic in the province. It is getting media-wide attention, not just locally, up in the city, throughout the province. It's in Toronto, through publications on there. And furthermore, there are other districts who are who got their eyes on us now. Every one of them. We live in a time where information goes rapid. In the past week, since our last meeting in Shelburne, unless you don't have nothing to do with today's technology, or you've lived under a rock, Facebook has just been a buzz. Hugely a buzz. And if you've read the things, which I'm sure most of you have, there are a lot of concerns. Everybody seems to have an answer of how they're going to save this fishery. A lot of them ideas are very valid, and in time, really will need to be brought to the table. But that is all fodder for later. Today, started 2 weeks ago, and we've had various meetings. Somebody said, and please don't take my words and twist them, and please try to understand what I'm trying to tell you. There's some people on Facebook and throughout talking about the importance of land workers and businesses and stuff like this. Very important. I've worked on land. Would never disrespect a land person. But the bottom line is this, and if you can prove me otherwise, I will listen. This economy around here begins with this first fact. Until that lobster comes off the bottom, nobody's going nowhere. And what that means, and some people ain't gonna like what they're gonna hear now, but it's still the truth, is that until the boats, until captains and crew realize a profit, nobody else is realizing a profit. That's just the reality of our industry and the world we live in. It has to begin with us. I've done that for 27 years. And quite honestly, I think I deserve to be fairly compensated. And so don't you.
Yes.
Now, some people still have come here today, they still don't know. Some of you come here, you're fence sitters. That's fine. I'd rather have a fence sitter than somebody who don't give a lick and didn't show up at all. Some of you are not sure. Well, go back home and discuss your current situation with your wife. And look at your 2 kids, or your kid, or how many more you got. Look at them. And say to yourself, well, if I withhold from this association, because as James has pointed out, we need strength in numbers. Every no that we get makes it one less day closer to realizing our goal. That's just the way it is. So if you can go home and look at your wife and you can look at your children and just shrug it off like it doesn't mean anything, all power to you. I'm glad I don't have to be accountable for you. Now, one other thing I'll say, and I don't want to get into a long speech here. We need to respect people's rights to say yes and no. Is it easy to get caught up and bogged down into getting upset because people don't want to join our cause? Yes, it is. In the past week, I've had a few conversations with some people that I kind of wish I would have held the reins in a little bit more. But it's an emotional time, and a lot is on the line, and things will get said that maybe if we had time to think, we wouldn't say it. As James pointed out, there are some individuals who own multiple boats, and because of that, for whatever reason, they don't want to see this work. They're telling their captains and they're telling their crews, don't want you part of that. Don't want to hear tell of your butt being in that meeting today. You got to respect that. It's not that those people, those guys running the boat and who are in the stern don't agree with us, but they're in a hard spot. That's their only job, and like most of us here today, fishing's the only thing we've ever known. Be patient within people. Because I've learned something from things I've read over the years. The one who's not carrying the torch now could be the person carrying the torch 6 months down the road. And if we burn bridges with those people, it ain't happening. I just call upon your common sense. Think about where we are. Think about what's happened without the association in place. Think about that. Think about your own individual situation. And if it's not bad, well, okay. If that's the case, if you got a heart at all, take a look at your best friend. Take a look at your neighbor, your other family who might be in the business. Do they need your help? I said earlier, the eyes of the fishing world is upon us. I don't see any reason to let them people down. Because in the process of that, we build ourselves up. Like Jane said, we've created one hell of a mess. Every one of you could come up here and could tell a story, a horror story of some sort, and they probably would keep getting worse. It's our time, people. It's our time. So what do you say? What do you say? Is this all still a joke to you? Bunch of bunk? If it is, there's the door. There's the door. I've learned one other thing, and I'll finish with this. It comes from my sports, times I've played sports. Years ago, it used to be you try to chase people to get them to show up, play, and all that kind of thing. And I learned that was quite counterproductive. But what was productive was when focus got put on those who were showing up. Things then got done. That's where we are today. Some people might go out the door, you might go out of here, and there's going to be people still negative, and nope. Then you got to step away from those people, because they're going to drag you down. If you believe in this cause. If you don't, that's fine. So anyway, not to carry on too much more, everybody get tired of looking at my face today. But it's a time of seriousness, it's a time of reflection, and it's a time of decision. And to a man and to a woman, you got to come up with a decision for you, your family, and for your community. Ball's in your hand now. It's for you to make your decision. And by signing in, I guess that says you're on board. You believe change has to occur, and you want a better community than what's happening today. That's for District 33 and District 34. Don't forget that fact. We're together. Those people to the east, those people up to Briar Island, just as important as everybody else in between. So anyway, leave you with that. Thanks everybody for coming, and together we can get it done.
Thank you very kindly, Troy. We have got some bragging rights. I want to make sure you fellows know this. We first started, I think the price was $3.50, $3.75, something like that. Well, some of these deadbeat dealers upped the ante to $4.50. Now, that's not enough money. That ain't what we agreed upon. But some guys is paying $5 out loud today. So we got a little bit of bragging rights here. And it's like this. Some people are saying, well, you never really, that association never really made the difference. Oh, yes it did. Don't tell James Moore that shit, because he ain't going to believe that. You know why? I was a lobster dealer for 29 years. I heard everything, including the kitchen sink and the drain pipe that come out of the sink. Was I perfect? Never. But I ruled the roost for a long time. Did I make money? Yes, I did. I made a lot of money. And I made it off you good fishermen. You sold your product to me, you believed in me, and guess what? Yeah, we were quite a team. And you know what amazes me? Is people will come to me and say, Well, I had a quit Yarmouth Corey Mood the other day. You had a Yarmouth Corey Mood the other day? What was you doing talking to him? He told me that, well, he couldn't pay no more money. He was losing money as it was. Well, I'm going to tell you a little story. Most of the dealers, I'll say 90% of them, from last spring, starting in April, until right now, has made the most money they ever made in their life in the lobster business. Thank you. I talk to 3 dealers that tells me the truth. I won't talk to nobody. I won't talk to no more than 3. They tell me the truth. The whole 3 of them admitted it. They also admitted, well, you know, we should have paid more money. Don't tell me that bullshit, because if you should have paid more money, you should have done it anyway. But you know what? Vicious greed got in the way. And you fellas made them, the lobster dealers that way. You made them. You come in and throw your lobsters at them. Said, here, take my lobsters, give me what you can. That's terrible. I mean, come on now. I'm going to take my lobsters and throw them at Corey Mood? I don't think so.
But that's what we've always done for 100.
No, you never. No, you did not, because you know what, Robert? When I rode the roads, we had a price out opening day. We did. Anyway, I'm going to turn the mic over to you guys.
James, don't the buyers work on a commission?
Did I have buyers?
As a buyer, don't the buyers work on a commission?
The real lobster shipper don't work on a commission. He works. He follows the market. It's supply and demand pretty well. But there's lots of guys that have commission buyers. They flip their lobsters for 50, 60 cents.
So it doesn't matter what the lobster fisherman's going to get for a price,
They still get that 50 or 60.
because they're going to make, and that's how they roll on.
As long as you fellas keep giving them lobsters. Come on. Go back. On top. David. Up here. No. No.
I'm just gonna ask you,
Oh, fine.
is everybody still gonna pay the half% a pound this year?
David, you know what I said? What they call Jeff Irvin, the 12-minute man. When you address the 12-minute man, you're going to say the 12-minute man. I'm telling you. Has everybody got to pay that? I think the dealers is for that. I've never heard a dealer that wasn't for that. I don't know why, because it isn't going to do you fellas any good. You got to have bargaining power. You got to go and negotiate with the dealers. Nothing wrong with the system. Selling off the dealers. The only thing is, you got to negotiate with them. By the way, this is Stephen Gorm. He builds boats, fiberglass boats for you guys.
Most of you know James, and actually there's 2 of them.
Get to the mic, Steve.
Actually there's 2 of them. There's James that's interested in your livelihood for the communities around here, and then there's Jesse James. You need them both. We need Jesse James to step up when he needs to be there, and we need the other James to talk sense. Been on this committee. Like James says, it's pretty hard to find anybody to go on the committee. They're very fierce in the first of it, and then when they find out they're not going to get paid, not interested. I think as this association starts up, you need people that aren't getting paid, because they've got your interest in mind, no personal gain. Well, in saying that, I got to say that here's what I've noticed. In September or so, we had calls coming in for boats galore. 15 people or so inquiring boats. When they found out that the price was going to be $325, we never heard from them again. That's my motive. I know that if you fellas get a good price, you're going to buy boats. Plain and simple. Criticism. Been hearing a lot of it, been around. I think you got to stop and think. If you haven't got something positive to say, then maybe you should just keep quiet for a little while. know that a lot of you don't, but the Bible says what you speak, it will be so. So if you talk in downturn and all this and that, that's what you're gonna get. You talk positive. Positive always overrules negative, always. No, James ain't. I've known him all my life. We've done some crazy things together. But deep down, he's 72 years old or so. He can lay back in his house. He hasn't got to bother with this. But to see these communities go down, when I was young, we could make $150 any day we wanted to. You could go to shore, you could bait trawl, you could do anything to make $150. You can't do that today. And I know that they've been, I'll give you a little history when always going against saying this and that about the buyers, but I'll tell you one thing that Corey Mood did do. When they were talking about the quotas, and all the fishermen was to the meetings, Corey stood up in that meeting and he said, boys, you don't want to do this. You don't want to go quotas. Because if you do, you've just made me a very rich man. And yet we done it. Stupid. We're stupid in that way. That's in the past. Are we going to move forward? Or status quo? And Davis told us what status quo means. The mess we made. Are we going to move on from here? Or are we going to status quo? It's just that simple. And again, if you're negative to this association, then maybe you should, this might not be the time for you to join. But if you're ready to unite, and the reason they so did against us is because this association is going to be clear. You can look at the books, you can do anything, and we will not knuckle under. They will not buy us. Let's give it a whirl. What do we got to lose? Let's give it a whirl.
One off-the-licensed fisherman said to me, he said, I'm going to wait and see. Well, you're going to wait and see, are you? Well, it seems to me you've been waiting quite a long while, but you ain't been seeing very clearly. I said to him, now, you want to take and join up, then I think I'm going to have to shame you, because I'll pay your dues. And by the way, I'm going to pay my money too. Don't kid yourself, I'll pay my money. The dealers, let's go back to dealers. I got to crap on in a little bit. Have to. The dealers is fond of three things. Number one, they do sign contracts in the fall before you fellas ever land a lobster in Europe and around. I don't know if you fellas know that or not. And they always have a way of spreading vicious propaganda. That means they lie terribly. There ain't nobody around who can lie anymore. They can lie. I'm telling you right now. That they do, they say, oh my dear, I can't do that because the canneries won't let me. Well, does the canneries own that business? They don't own mine. I had my own business. I done what I wanted to do. I don't believe that the canneries run them fellas' business as more or less a vicious propaganda where they want to make themselves look good. Well, they ain't looking very good today, I'll tell you that right quickly.
That's right.
Because you know why? The truth is being told and history is being made.
Yeah.
I guess that guy that won't pay his dues there, I guess I'm gonna have to cough up another $250, so I guess we're gonna get that done too. I guess he ain't gotta wait and see no more. I'm gonna explain this cannery, and we will have a cannery, we will. We are going to have a cannery. I've had calls from Halifax wanting to raise money for the private sector. One lobster dealer has joined. We're getting good response. You know, everybody that I'm talking to is positive about raising money and donating money. Banks, I've talked to 2 or 3 banks, I've talked to probably a half dozen companies. Somebody sent a check already, them's the good guys. But we are going to raise enough money for a cannery. We will do that, guaranteed. Cannery is going to be, I really never explained it that good. This cannery will not be owned by a corporation, it will be owned by the lobster fishermen in these communities. Nobody's going to own this forever. And this cannery will target fishermen to bring their product. The fisherman sells their lobsters to a lobster dealer. The lobster dealer gets a commission of 50, 60 cents and they have to truck it to New Brunswick. Some of that money can be paid to you. You're going to bring your lobsters to the cannery and you're going to get more money for it. That's the way this is going to go. I've already looked into the legal parts of it and we can do this as a community. Like I say, it is not going to be run by any one individual. It's going to be run by a board of directors, and I hope I'm on the board of directors, of course, and it's going to be owned by the community. That's the story of the cannery. We need to raise $1 million, we can do it, no problem. The 2 governments has got to put up $4 million. It's going to cost $5 million. We already have several sites picked out for the land. We've got to have a lot of good salt water. It's got to be built by the salt water. That's basically the best I can do about explaining that. Now, I asked the negativities, and I asked the negative people to come up here and tell me why we shouldn't have this association and that the board of directors shouldn't run it. I'm going to ask the positive people to come up here and talk about this now. So the mic is open.
My name's Benjamin Nickerson. I bought a rig 4 years ago. Anyhow, hasn't been crying. Alright, 4 years ago, I don't smoke, but might not be positive. 4 years ago, I looked at buying a rig. Every banker, every fisherman, every accountant, every lawyer said, you gotta get a young guy fishing. Young guy's the future of this fishery. Every one of those mothers right now look me in the face and say, the strong will survive. What's going on right now? Are you going to look me in the face and say, the strong's going to survive? Or when it gets tougher than this, are you still going to be here for us?
I'm always going to be here for you. I've always worn my cap as a fisherman and a community member. Always.
Okay.
That ain't never going to come off.
All right, James.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Peterson. As James said, I am a welder. I work for my father, or did work, I don't do it now, because my daughter, when my daughter was born, she was sick, and I ended up moving to Halifax because of her condition. She was in the hospital for a long time. Anyway, I just moved back, and she still has medical problems, so that's why I'm not working right now. And because there really isn't any work for me right now. And I probably think that's because of the price of lobster, but that's a different point that I want to get at. The point I want to make is, I think a lot of people are basing their decision on whether to join the group or not on hearsay, things that aren't facts. Like you can look at me right now. I got a bench coat on. I have a Hollister t-shirt on and silver jeans. They're all very expensive clothes. $30 my coat cost me. Free jeans, free t-shirt. So you can look at me and judge me and say, this girl's growing hard times, but she's wearing expensive clothes. But you don't know the facts behind why I'm wearing my expensive clothes. And I think you should base your decision on why to join on the facts. And the fact of the matter is, the lobster industry around here is going down. Everybody's going down with it. And if everybody don't come together and do something about it, my job's not going to be there, and neither is yours. That's all. Like, that's all there is to it. You can't base it on everybody else's opinion. It has to be why you want to join. And I personally support this association because I want my job.
But getting back to Kent, I mean, I can sit here all day, but without your folks' help, guess what? We're not going to go anywhere. Like I say, I don't even have a vote. The young man asked me if I was on site. I've been on site all my life. I was a fisherman for 20 odd years. I still wear that hat. I'll always be a fisherman at heart. But also a community member. Always will be that way. Not just for Woods Harbor. No. That means communities in Southwest Nova and elsewhere. Everybody's watching this association. Everybody. I've had calls from PEI, Newfoundland. I'm doing 100 telephone calls a day, plus I've done 5 news media stories yesterday. And when I get home this afternoon, there'll be 5 more. I don't mind doing that. I tell them the truth. I can surely tell them the truth, and they can get the stories out. And by the way, CGLS, and I thank CGLS very, very much, because they're the first people come on site, and within 3 minutes after he gets all his stuff put together, this goes all over North America, everywhere, within 3 minutes. I had a woman call me from Toronto. I don't think she ever see a lobster before in her life. But anyway, she wanted to do a story. We done a story, 15 minutes. I done one in PEI. I thought my arm was going to drop off. This guy was on the phone. He was serious. I'll bet you he was in there for an hour, all positive. So you are getting the word. The word is getting out there, and everybody's watching you. It is not only the district, LA 33 or 35. And by the way, before I forget, I am going to DB. I think tonight I'm going to cook Cassie some beans and wieners, and she's going to have this baby tomorrow. Thank you.
State your
Go
name.
ahead first.
State your name.
I think we're all here for the same reason. We're all in the same boat. Not all of us, because it would be a big boat. But we all feel the pinch. Before the season started, myself and my cousin, we did a small protest in Westport. We did see a couple hundred people. The rest of the people, I got emails about getting sued because they thought we were crazy. And now I see that I might have been right, because we're all here. I don't think there's anyone here that should leave without joining, and I don't think you are. You're all going to join on your way out, because that's why we all came. My father used to own a boat shop. He sold it a couple months ago. He still works there because they had a few orders, so they still have to be part of the process to try to flip from one owner to the next. But I'm just glad that there's meetings going on. I mean, I talked to Tina, I talked to CGLS. I still not answering the phone for CBC Radio, even though I'm French. I don't want to talk French to them anymore. I talked to them 3 or 4 times. If there's nothing I can tell them that they don't already know. So I had one phone call from a buyer that told me that James Moore was a crook.
Right on.
And that's what I said. I won't tell you. I said, good. I'm glad he's a fucking crook, because he's on my side this time. Because that's who we need on our side. And we shouldn't take their crap anymore, because like you said, they'll say anything they want to try to make them look good and try to get cheap lobster. You've been a lobster buyer before, I'm sure you lied a couple times. And I lied to all of you too. I wish I was a buyer, because I would probably pay you guys less. Because half of you will still fucking go fishing for $3 next year. Right? But that's what I was told when I say we should not go until we get a better price. Half of them said, they sent me emails, Facebook, whatever. I probably pissed off half of you on Facebook already. And if I'm lucky, I'll piss the rest of you guys off. Because this is what we have to do. We have to not go whatsoever. That's how I feel. That's how I felt before dumping day. And that's how I'm going to feel before the next dumping day. And that's how it's going to continue to feel. We shouldn't go at all. We should tie the boats up and go on CGLS, Vanguard, and say, it's done. Right here. Not going for fucking $3.25 again. And that's how it should be, and everyone should join on the way out.
Thank you very kindly. I think it was very, very well worded. And believe me, you got the attention of a lot of people, including me. Now, I forgot to thank you. The news media has been a great, great help. Really, they have. Tim Gillespie is going to do a widget page for us for a couple $100. We had another guy wanted $4. I told him, no, we don't have that kind of money right now. We've got to cut down on our expenses. So we'll do it for $200 with Tim Gillespie. Okay, listen, there's going to be bingo in this hall this afternoon or tonight, and I promised I'd make the meeting short. But listen, if anybody, don't go home and say, well, I should have said this to James Mood. Now is your time. Don't go home and say, well, you know what, I had my chance, but I didn't want to get up here and speak because of some, I don't know, whether, anybody can come up here and talk on this thing, and you fellas should bring your concerns to the microphone. Come on up.
Anybody knows me? My name's Will Scott, rep from Yarmouth. We had our meeting before the season for 2 weeks there before the season with Ashton. And the only reason I went there is because they said they had no rep for Yarmouth, so I said, well, I'll volunteer. Me and Garnet Purdy went for Yarmouth and Town Point. Ashton's a nice father, and his way of doing things is always trying to negotiate and trying to see how he can make things better, talking to the buyers. We had a conference call with Spiro. Spiro talked for 2 hours. Dave Garbo talked for 3 minutes. And Bobby Newell talked for about 7 minutes. Spiro said that we were going to get 3 1/4. Not because they were worth 3 1/4, but because the rest of the people were fishing for 3 1/4. He said it twice. So he told us that he didn't recognize us as a group, Ashton or none of us, because we needed somebody professional to represent us. Well, I'm glad we got James that's going to represent us. And Ashton was very diplomatic. I'm not going to pick him apart. I think he tries his best. But that organization ain't working. I only went there to see what's going on because somebody wanted to rep for Yarmouth. Well, I'm telling you, that ain't going to work, that organization. It's just like, he's just too nice. He's asking what we can do to make it better. It kind of made me laugh because I thought, man, I asked him, I mean, how better can they have it? They're going to give us 3 1/4. I don't even think Spiro knew what to say. I mean, 3 1/4, we all went fishing. So I went like this, stopped the conference call, let's forget about that talk and let's just stay home and not go fishing. About 4 people's arms went up and said, we got to go fishing. We got to go fishing. That's on the table, Willie. Be quiet. Well, we went fishing. Them same people we had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and I said, how'd that work for you? Well, we just went fishing. Well, surprise, surprise, that was something. So now what are we going to do? Are we going to keep going for 3 1/4? I figure we got 3 strikes. 3 or 4 years ago we had 1 strike. We got another strike now at 3 1/4. And if we don't do something with Mr. Mood here, we're all going to be struck out. And we ain't going to be fishing. And Ashton's put in for an organization too, just like James we recognized. And I'm giving my money to James, and I don't care who knows.
Last spring, I talked to three lobster dealers only. because I had my doings with the other collect and the other mobsters a long time ago, and they don't speak the truth. Last spring and this winter, the lobster dealers has made the most money they ever made in history off of you guys. Last spring, you guys sold your lobsters $2 a pound, and they got an Isle of Man, Canso, Whitehead, they got $5.50 for their lobsters. You took $4 1/4. The same lobster dealers went down to them to Isle of Man, Canso, and bought the lobsters, paid a commission and trucking. You fellas sold your lobsters $2 a pound cheaper than the Isle of Man and Canso group. Now, that ain't a bad lobster. It isn't. I've been in there. They're handling things a little different down there. They do have what I would call some leaders telling the lobster dealers that we're not going to go for that price, and it isn't quite effective. I've never attended the meetings. I never was asked to come. I would have gone. Probably I can learn something. You can always learn something. But just imagine, $2 a pound less. Now, the season closed. Ken DeMine here? Where's he at? Not here. He saved a few lobsters last year. 7 days later, he took $6.60 a pound from him. Come on now. The market don't increase automatically from one price to that price overnight. It don't. So, just imagine. Them same dealers was telling you, well, we can't pay no more than $4 1/4. Well, how come they made the most money they ever made in their life? Yeah, last spring, from April on, including the end, and when they was buying lobsters down the Isle of Man, that was included. And this season, they've made the most money. It's been record-making money year. And I know what I'm talking about. I don't come here to lie to you. Sometimes it's a little difficult because I don't know how you fellas going to take it, but I come here and I put everything on the table. I don't hold nothing back and no hidden agenda. But if you fellas want to bankrupt your communities, bankrupt yourself, you keep holding on. Like that fellow down in Woods Harbor said, he's going to hold on and wait. Guess what? He might fall through the cracks. If this don't work, you guys are in big trouble. Thank you. Anybody else?
Troy?
Kind of sensing that there's, some people are going to leave here soon, and they're kind of going to go right with the question, it seems like there's some loose ends not being tied up, and some questions aren't getting answered. Because if we go over the history of how these meetings have unfolded, certain things have been said. Now, I'm a crewman. I understand how my role is going to be within the association, what I'm entitled to in terms of votes. All good with that. But I do understand that we're here together, and then there's this little lull, and then there's crew and there's the license holders. And the license holders are who DFO will deal with. And we understand that. You should respect it if you're a crewman. Same as captains should respect their crew and anything they have to say. But what some of the things that was said in this meeting was, we hit a certain point, and if we don't get this price, what are we supposed to do? And there was talk of landing the gear, there was talk of tying up the boat, holding the lobsters. Well, we've passed that deadline. And so now, I'm just kind of speaking on crew's behalf, we're kind of looking to you license holders, because ultimately you're the ones that's going to make the decision. And I don't think it's fair to kind of leave us like kind of hanging in the wind sort of deal. We want to know what's happening. And those are decisions you guys ultimately hold the decision on. And I think there's people wondering, well, okay, this is all good. We get up here and we pat each other on the back and we got to do something, and the community's falling down through the crack. That's all good and well. Like I said, you must be living under a rock if you don't understand all that, what's going on around you. But I think we've kind of we're at it right here now. This is kind of a rubber, what are we doing? Are we waiting till we do enough of these meetings to get a big enough, like we get the association in place, and then we have one grand meeting, and these things get voted on? Because it started in Barrington, we're going to do this. We're going to tie the boats up. Well, that's all good and well, but you can't speak for that person in Yarmouth, in Barrington. It was said again in Shelburne. And that crowd had a response. Can't have that as, that's not what sets the tone. Yes, we can take a vote here today, and you license holders can also say, well, you know, yeah, that makes sense, we gotta do something. Because talk is just talk. You can keep talking and talking and talking, and these dealers are going, that's what they're hoping. As long as they talk, we're okay. Nobody ever got hurt by talk. It's when an action is taken. I like to see how they react when they have to have action thrown at them. We don't know. We've never gave them reason to react. They've had it good. So I guess, James, that's a question I think we got to address here. Like, where are we going from here? Like, what's the deal? We just keep right on fishing and we throw our lobsters in the car, or do we tie the boats up? And that's kind of, that's a fair question to be asked here today. People leaving here want to know, where are we going from here?
We put the
Just a minute. In Barrington, I wanted the boys to stay and not haul the gale. That's what I wanted. As you know, I don't have a vote. I don't. So they voted to go, but they voted to go and bring the lobsters ashore and put them in a closed system and wait for the 550. Well, I kind of didn't like that. Now I did get surprised in Yarmouth. I think the Yarmouth boys wanted to quit fishing. Tie them up. No more fishing, no more bringing lobsters ashore. But we've already got a direction we're going in, and you can't, listen, the only way that it'd be fair to everybody is this way. If we have a vote for everybody to come that's joined up, to have a vote on what you fellas want to do, and we'll deal with the vote the democratic way. You can't vote here today. You have a direction here. The direction was on the 10th day of January, we voted in Barrington to go fishing and hang on the lobsters. Like I said, I didn't think that they would do that, but they done it. And to accumulate a $5.50 price. If we're going to change things, we can't change it here. We got to have an overall vote of the people that signed up. That's what we have to do. That's only fair. That is only fair, because guess what? You can't go in this direction, and you can't go in that direction, and you can't go in that direction. You got to stay the course for now.
Was everybody that voted to hold?
Come again.
Was everybody that voted to hold the lobsters members at that time?
What did he say?
Were they all members that said they would hold their lobsters? Or were there just people that would say without being a member?
No, not at Barrington. No, we just started it. No. There might have been. No, I don't know how many joined when we was in Barrington. To tell you the truth, I don't know. There wasn't very many of them.
I think what the question is, James, what he wants to know is, are the other people that haven't joined it, like you said, some are sitting on the fence. So when we come up with this vote, whether it's next week or whatever, can the other people vote too that haven't gave their money yet to see what
No. That ain't gonna happen. Guaranteed it. Yeah, I'm getting my temperatures rising now.
I wanted to address the Facebook page that is, or the group that's currently on Facebook, the LFA 34 and 3, whatever it's called. It's long. I just actually, like right now, I just got a message on Facebook. Someone said, is there any way to stop some of the bashing the skippers on here and try to control the negative stuff? It is hurting us. Erica made me an admin on the page so I could help deal with this stuff that's been on the page, and honestly, it's a lot and it's been pissing me off. So we're going to change the page so that only administrators can post on the wall to save conflict every way around. Everybody's opinion matters. If you have a concern that you want to ask one of the administrators, feel free to send a message to their inbox. I'm going to also post this on the page, something on the page about it too, but when I get home, I'm changing it so that only administrators can post on the page. We want to use it for advertisement, to get the word out, not to bash everybody. people's been on there bashing buyers, but you guys need the buyers, you can't bash them. They are hurting you, but you still need them. And you can't go bashing the captains. My boyfriend, he got ripped hard this winter. He quit, end of story. Nobody else knows. They'll see when he can't get a crew, people will see that he's been ripping people off. So we don't need it on our wall, so we're just gonna change it. And I also want to say that I'm gonna talk to the guy who's setting up the webpage and see if he can set the webpage up so that you, like when you get your membership card, it will, like you'll have a membership number, and you can join the webpage, like log into the webpage with your membership number, and then it will say if you're a crew or a captain, it will have to meet the criteria. I'm just gonna see if this can work. It will have to meet the criteria, so you'll already have to be a member of the association in order to join the webpage. And I'm gonna see if you can do the voting on the webpage as well. So that way it saves conflict, because if we want to involve everybody in Nova Scotia, all the fishermen in Nova Scotia should be able to have their own personal vote, and you're not gonna get everybody from Nova Scotia in one room to vote. I personally think it's a good idea to set up the voting online, if it's possible. I'm gonna look into it and find out if it's possible. Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, we're gonna have to have a meeting.
Does everybody think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
And I am changing the Facebook page. Please don't be offended by it. And like I said, if you have concerns, inbox the administrators of the page, which is myself, Erica, and Tina, or call James. He loves to talk to you on the phone.
Back to the $5.50 price. Let's bring in the buyers to a meeting. And by selling your lobsters to the buyer, if they will donate, say, 25 cents to the board here, to be on our side. So if we're going to sell them lobsters, and they're going to give 25 cents and $5.50, and start it with them, because they are part of the community, aren't they not? The ones you sell your lobsters to are part of the community. Those are the ones who take your lobsters just at the first. So if you bring them on board, all your first-time buyers, and they give us the $5.50 price, and they give us a little bit to this board, we're going to change the price right away. So we need to have a meeting with these buyers, the community people, and let's get it started at $5.50. That's how we're going to do it.
Say what you want to say. No. Listen.
Like I heard what Steve said, but I don't want to disagree, but there ain't no way no buyer's gonna give us a quarter for nothing to go against that.
You're starting the game off at $5.50.
No, Steve, I'm talking about your donation. They're not gonna donate no quarter for us. They won't give us a quarter for regular price bringing it along. So they're not gonna give us another quarter just to go against them.
Some of these people are part of the community. If they want a $5.50 price for starting off the lobster price, I'm just saying.
Maybe it'll work. I
People
don't
on
know.
board.
I didn't see the math anyway.
Going back to the votes, if it comes down that we have to have a vote, and that could come sooner than later, if you're not a member, you're not voting. No way. That's what this is for. Anybody else got any concerns or comments?
James, I got one. I don't have to come up there.
No, you do have to come up.
No. All right, if we tie up, we've got no product to get $5.54, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If we fish and we hold them, then we have the leverage.
Yeah.
Right.
Other than that, you're tying up for no reason. People can't afford to tie up. If we could, we wouldn't be here. Think about that one before you vote on tying up, right?
Listen, I understand your comments and your concerns, but like I say, if we do have a vote, remember, it will be 51-49 if it comes down to it. That will be the democratic way that we're going to vote. And if you're a paid-up member, you vote. And listen here, you must understand that. You've got to understand that before we go any further. Because that is what's going to happen. Russell?
I understand it, James. I'm just making the point clear that
Good,
if you've
I
got
understand
no
that.
product, it doesn't matter how
Valid
much you
point. Valid point.
I'll pay any price if we're not going. Right, this summer, we got 650 in July.
Russell?
23 in June, we're not going.
State your name. This guy's name is Russell Acker.
And I got a little bit to say here today, and I want you all to listen to what I got to say. Now, we ain't got enough members right now to have a vote on nothing. We got 400 members, and we should have 4,000.
That's right.
Right? It ain't enough out there. It's enough out on voters to put us out right now. They can tell us go to hell. Right? Don't make any goddamn votes till you get the goddamn members.
No swearing.
Well, I'll tell
No
you.
swearing.
Sorry about that, Mr. Moot. But everybody's going to look at it like me. I spent my $250, the best $250 I spent, but we still got a problem. And the problem is the people want John. Why? I don't know. This is 4 meetings. And I asked that girl down there, how many members we had? She said 400. I could have walked out that door myself. Right? Something wrong. What's going on here? We don't know nothing about.
I'll tell you, Russell, I'll answer that again when they were coming up. Associations to me is like a bee sting. I'm totally allergic. I did sign up, and I paid my money. But if you don't stand united, if you're going to stay divided, you will fall. There's nothing against the buyers. There should be a challenge put for the first buyer to come up and see who the first one with guts enough to pay the $550.
But that's why I come up here. I didn't want to come up here, but what I come up here and told you, I'm just looking on here. When I asked that woman down there how many members we had, didn't you first want to vote on it? No, don't vote, because we ain't got enough people to vote anything on them. It's more unvoted can put us out of everything. So, if these voters want to have a vote on things, get your buddies and pay their dues. You got to pay your dues. We want one association. We got to have it here. We don't want 10. If you got 10, we all might walk home right now. We're done. You seen what happened in the long run, and you seen what happened in it all. I just as big as long liner as anybody. But you see who got the fish now? It's women who's got more goddamn fish than I ever had. Women that joined these associations, run them. They got the fish. Now who's got the money? They're filling their money with our fish. That's why we got to stick to one association. We don't need 10 in this lobster racket. One's enough. If you don't like James move, it doesn't matter who you put up here. I don't care where. I was in a lot of associations and listened to a lot of people. Everybody don't like everybody, right? I things up. I might have a next door neighbor I don't like, but I gotta put up with him.
You ain't gonna have to worry about people joining up, because once James gets recognized as a, whatever you wanna call it, anyway, recognized through the government or whatever, as an association, it's gonna be mandatory dues anyway. It don't matter. They're either gonna have to join James, or Ashton Spinney's group, or whoever. But it's gonna be mandatory, and the government will see to that, not the fishermen. So they're gonna pay regardless. So the people that don't wanna join think, oh, I'm not gonna pay. Well, they're gonna pay. They're either gonna pay Ashton's group, or this group. But I'm going with this group.
Chances are I will talk to the dealers. Like I say, every dealer's called me but one. He was drunk. I hung up on him after a while. Has said openly that we are doing the right thing. Now, that don't mean we're getting a $5.50 price. And that's what I told him. I said, listen, if you think that we're heading in the right direction and doing the right thing, pay the $5.50. Well, price ain't that. I said, you need lobsters, and I know you do, because I've done my homework. And when you was counting your money, I was figuring that when the best time to start an association and get the movement going. So don't tell me what you're going to do with these lobsters, because you're going to put them in your closed system, and you're going to have lobsters for the rest of the winter. You know I know that. So don't bullcrap me, because you can't do that. You can't. I spent 29 years in the lobster business. Yeah, not perfect. Not saying I am, but I am saying this, that I thought I was pretty fair. But listen, the bingo people has to use this room tonight. If anybody else has comments or concerns, you better come now, because within probably 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to close it down. And I hope and pray you fellows understand where we're going here. Everything's been talked about today. You know which direction we're going in, what course. And like I say, this is the last chance for you guys. Anybody come up here, hey, just got a concern or comment, we want to hear from you. If not, we got to close it down within 5 or 10 minutes to start with. Who wants to adjourn the meeting? Larry Nicholson will adjourn the meeting. Erica? Seconded? James, that guy James, he's got a bad name, that guy. Thank you.
Where do we pay?
What's that?
Where do we pay this thing?
Way up, right down the bottom of that hall down there. They'll take all your money you got.
I don't want no media to probably to watch this, but this is going to be a little sense of humor. I think some of these buyers, right, since the time they were born, their grandmothers rocked them like this. Buy low, sell high, and don't forget to lie.